Martinis are for people that want to go to the moon. They want to go to the moon with a drink or two. They don't have time to sit there for the whole, they need to be fucked up by the appetizer. I needed to be in the bag by the appetizer. If bruschetta or tuna tartare hit the table and I wasn't in the bag, we had a problem. I needed to have that gin glow on my face, that heat on my face before the appetizer hit the table. So it's very important that you make the drink the right way. Just lukewarm gin in a martini glass. You can even, I didn't have vermouth sometimes. I just do it with the gin. It's nice if you have a martini shaker. You could do it in a milk glass, big bar glass, water glass. You can do that. A little stir. It's here's the thing, folks, and a lot of people won't tell you this. It is classy to throw your life away drinking certain drinks. Martinis, Pedal on the Rocks, whiskey, bourbon, scotch. They're nice. Something nice about throwing your life away like that. Not beer. That's low rent. But like a liquor alcoholic, I always say good for him. That's somebody that knows where they're going and desperately wants to get there as quickly as possible. When you were boozing it up, you drank beer, right?
Light beer. That's
light beer. I mean, how can you even be proud of that? But you didn't even have a good, what did you drink from college to what? You were, to what?
Like 19 to like 25.
Yeah. I would say that was me too. I think I was like 19 to 25 because I was drugs from 13 to 20 and of course from 20 to 25 as well. But I got into booze when I was done with all the other drugs. Yeah. When I quit everything else, I moved into booze. I graduated to booze. The good old Kettle One on the rocks with a black fly in the glass from the good old bartenders at Lisa's Lounge. But that's what I mean. I threw my entire life away for that drink, and I don't regret it either. It was a great. There's nothing better than a Sunday afternoon getting shit-faced and going to sleep in your car. Yeah. Getting really. There was a place called Churchill's in Rockville Center, and I was asked to leave twice because I think one of the women in Churchill's, I was drunk, and it was 11 a.m., and I was telling my table of people how important it was that we continued to support the people of Iraq by sending more troops and money. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs and yelling. And a woman started screaming at me from across the, you don't know what you're talking about. And I was screaming and I was drunk. I think I called her a terrorist. And I was asked to leave. I was really raring to go. I believed in the Bush administration. And then I stopped doing cocaine and drinking. And then I was like, wow. Whew. It's amazing what happens when you start looking at things through the lens of somebody that's, not doing cocaine and drinking daily. You do get a better idea of what's going on in the world. I mean, I used to go nuts. Like, I used to get coked out of my face, put a bunch of friends in my Suburban, drive around really wealthy areas in Long Island and point to the houses and go, they deserve this money. They deserve it. They're better than we are. Screaming, sweating, screaming. And my friends would be like, yeah. Back of the car, they were terrified. They're like, are we going to die? What's wrong with this guy? I mean, they deserve it. Don't take their money, make your own money. And then sometimes the car would run out of gas, like in the middle of those, because I hadn't put gas in it. I would just stand outside of the car screaming, just smoking cigarettes and screaming. Like when I say I completely destroyed my life, I mean, I'm sure, there's elements of it that are fun. But, I should have just vlogged. That's what I should have done. I should have vlogged. Everything I like about the world is live. Other than this podcast, everything I like is stand-up and, whatever, music, theater, all that shit. It's all live. It's in a stage. It's real. Things can go wrong. Vlogging's edited. And that's the generation we live in. We live now in the time of editing, and everything you put out there, for the most part, a lot of these guys, and some of them are really talented at the way they do this, and editing is certainly a talent, it's a skill. Some would say it's an art form. They'd be, whatever. But that's what we are. We're living in a time of editing, and everybody's edited. And what I always was drawn to was live, unedited shit. It was raw, and it was right in front of you. And if it fucking sucked, it sucked. And if it was great, it was great. And if it was somewhere in the middle, which it usually was somewhere in the middle. And maybe it had moments of brilliance, and maybe it didn't, and maybe it dipped at the end and you were bored. But it wasn't ever, you couldn't duplicate it. You couldn't play it back. You couldn't show your friend unless they were standing next to you. There was something cool about that. That's why I've always liked restaurants, and it's why I like comedy shows. I like things that even though there's a level of consistency, it's one and done. Like, it's just, we had a great dinner, and then we went back 3 nights and it sucked. And then you're like, what, was it even good? You see a comic destroy, then you see him the next time with the same jokes and it doesn't work. And you're like, wait a minute, that magic was gone. Was it the audience? Was it him? Was it her? What was it, So that's what we're moving away from. We're moving into this world where everything is edited, and everybody's going to be able to release the parts of themselves, that they think are the best. And it's going to suck. I'm a little depressed about, how tough it's going to be for live performance. Let's read an ad here. We're going to read it in real time. The Tim Dillon Show is brought to you by the Bill. Okay. What? China invested all of that in TikTok to prove what? Our kids are retards? You tell me we couldn't have emailed China and said that? Yeah, our kids are sociopaths that dance around. Doesn't matter what's happening. We could light the world on fire. They literally dance. I mean, that's the big... What is this surveillance? Where are you listen, I'm not saying... You should have been concerned about surveillance years and years and years and years ago. This isn't new. Remember how none of you gave a fuck because Osama bin Laden was going to come down the chimney and cut all your throats? And now everybody's concerned about surveillance. They've been surveilling. They've been reading. They've been doing everything. You didn't care till a fucking month ago. You just didn't care. So it's Monday morning quarterbacking the whole thing. You're not going to win. The government in this country, if you ever pose a serious threat to them, they're going to vaporize you in some manner. Your car goes into a tree. They leak a bunch of info on you. They audit you a bunch. They will break your spirit, or they'll break your head. That's just what happens if you get to be a big enough threat. This is not to defend any of the new surveillance measures. This is not to say you shouldn't be vigilant. This is not to say you shouldn't pay attention to what's going on, but this is to make you honestly understand that everybody in this country acts like they woke up and learned about everything today. Everybody acts like it just dawned on them that things are fucked this minute. Where have you been? Where were you? Where were you when this was going on through Obama, before Obama, during Bush? Where were you then? I just don't understand. I understand, there's nothing to take here. They don't care about your lives as much as you think they do. They just want you to work and earn money, and they don't want you to have health insurance, and they don't want you to be able to have the money to challenge them, and they don't want you to have the type of democratic representation that you should have. That's why they fucking gerrymander and fuck up the districts all the goddamn time. They'd rather you not vote. They don't want you to do any of that. This is all a problem, by the way. I'm not saying none of it's a problem, but like this idea that like they're spying on me, it's like, yeah, it's an issue. And they're spying on you because they want to sell you more crap for the most part. They want to sell your data to people so they can sell you more shit, so they can find out the best way to market a pizza right down your throat. If they could drone pizzas down your throat, that's what a lot of it is. And yes, if you start kicking up dust and challenging the status quo, which none of you do anyway, but if you were to do that, like Mr. Michael Hastings, then you meet the tree. You meet Mr. Tree. So that's what it is. I'm not trying to be blackpilling. I don't want to be dispiriting here, But this panic, everyone's at level 12 panic about everything, but nobody cared, they're going to vaccinate us all. Yeah, probably going to be a vaccination for this. We probably need it. They're going to put chips in us. That's a problem. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. That's a bad road to go down. But again, it's, they might not put a chip in you. They might not care. They don't need to. They don't need to put a chip in you to control you. They're already kind of controlling you. All the things that you think you're not going to be allowed to do, you'll probably be allowed to do them. You're going to be allowed to go out to the Buffalo Hut and order the fire. You're going to be able to go out and go to the fried chicken and grenade stand that you like. You're going to be able to do that. But if you try to unionize, you try to get some fucking money or self-respect, or try to say, hey, I don't want to come in today, I've got corona, they're going to say, fuck you, get in here and die on the factory floor. That they're going to do. So be a little more concerned about, nobody's concerned about any of that, by the way. Nobody cares about any of that. It's all about Satan, and it's an ancient religious war. And no, it's not. When you really figure out what it is, it's the ultimate black pill. Because it's not Satan and fucking what you people think. It's trade routes. When you figure out the whole thing, the blackmail, the nightmares, the murder, it's all to protect ports and trade routes and ways to get oil to the Caspian Sea and ways to protect interests of very wealthy people. It's the ultimate black pill. You're doing all this so that billionaires can be trillionaires. That's it. It's not because it's some blood oath, some ancient religion. Please tell me it's at least that. Please, wait a minute. You're not even a lizard? We're the same species and you treat me like this? It's even worse. I wish they were lizards. It would make you feel better. You'd at least get to go to bed and go, oh, they're lizards. No, they're the same species, and they still don't give a fuck. They've got the same blood in their veins. They're not, when I say they're lizards from another planet, it's a joke. It's scarier that they're from this planet, and they don't give a fuck about you. And all the shit they do, the skull and bones, the shit, all the weird stuff. Yes, they're morbid fucking people. Yes, they're a cult. Yes, blah, blah, blah. But what drives it? What drives the secret groups and what drives the secrecy and the bonding and the blackmail is money. It's the ability to earn money and to have nobody get in the way of them earning money. Listen, so when the conspiracy talk gets going, I'm with you. I just don't want to hear about time machines. I don't want to hear about QAnon. I don't want to hear about Donald Trump be given a time machine. I don't want to hear JFK Jr. still alive. Tell me something normal. Tell me the government blew up the federal building in Oklahoma. That's something I'll discuss over brunch when we're allowed to have it. Tell me about 9/11. Talk to me about, the Boston Marathon bombing. And by the way, Ray Kump brought up a great point today. He said, no shootings. None of these kids are shooting anybody with COVID-19. You start to wonder if some of these school shootings are not as random as they appear. Because nobody's gone into a farmer's market with a gun. And don't go do that now that I've said it. But the point is that when you start thinking about it, and I'm not saying the school shootings are fake or staged. What I'm saying is that it is interesting. There hasn't been any random acts of violence since this. There hasn't been any of that. Companies are starting to
I was 5 years old when my stepfather abused me for the first time. I just felt like I was alone.
Starting to figure out how to get people back to work. Okay? Fear of second wave in summer. Cities begin canceling 4th of July events. Feds cover up nursing home deaths. Testing botched. Nursing home deaths had nothing to do with coronavirus. Just people in nursing homes bludgeoned.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like everybody's like, China lied about the amount of deaths. I'm like, wait, America's going to be like, hold my beer.
Right.
Wait till we start burning down nursing homes. That's odd. Remember when China collapsed that hotel? Beverly Hills orders face masks worn in public. Well, that's where I walk around every day. I wear them in public.
You're wearing it now when you go out?
I'm wearing it. Yeah, I did it today. Come down here. It's come to this. If you want to go for a walk in Beverly Hills or do anything else outdoors in that city, You're going to have to cover your face. City officials have decreed that everyone must sport some type of face covering when they leave their homes. See, this is when I would love to be able to start a business immediately and have the infrastructure to start making like bedazzled masks.
Yeah.
Because you would make a couple of mil selling kind of fun, crazy face masks.
Yeah.
That's the type of shit. I wish I could snap my fingers and then have that infrastructure. You know? Beverly Hills Mayor Lester Friedman, that's the name of the pimp in Casino, right?
Is that true?
Yeah. Sharon Stone's boyfriend in Casino, Lester Friedman. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I guarantee you it's Lester. Or Lester Diamond. Is it Lester Diamond?
Shit, hold on.
It's Lester Diamond, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that sucks. Thought it was Lester Friedman. I don't know. But the mayor of Beverly Hills, yeah, Lester Diamond. The mayor of Beverly Hills says you got to have a mask on to walk around Beverly Hills. What happens if you don't have a mask, by the way?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
You know, what are they going to do? They probably cite you. You probably get a little ticket.
Well, you notice it doesn't say law. It says it's a rule.
It's a rule. I don't even know. I don't even know anymore, folks. I'm getting a little tired of this. I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired of the scientific community not knowing anything. And I think I want them to stop feeding the media all this info if you don't know anything. Someone the media is starting to fucking get out of control now. They're scaring everybody. It's true. Conservative show today. But I'm dead serious. I'm sick of, and yeah, fuck Trump too. He's fucked up. He's not doing anything right for anybody. But the media is like, the coronavirus lives in your ass. You know, it's like, stop. I'm trying to sleep. Coronavirus can come in and fuck you in your mouth at night. It's like, how about no? Where are the scientists? They don't fucking know anything. Turn it off. Turn the internet off. Italy extends lockdown despite business pressure. Dude, Italy, remember in the beginning, Italy was singing to each other on their balconies, and now they are stealing food because they're desperate and hungry. And this is the future of America. And I'm telling you right now, I don't want anybody to get sick, and I understand why we had to do this. But we got to figure out a way to start opening the economies back, because not where poor, vulnerable people get killed, because that's what's happening now. But we got to figure out a way, whether it's, testing, mitigation, to begin, because this thing will spiral out of control very quickly without even the idea. We needed the idea that we're going to come back. Even if it's not the reality in the near term, we need the idea that we're going to come back. Which is why they were talking. Several big companies are like, listen, we're going to have people come in, try to find that. NBC, companies, big companies thinking about how they're going to bring people back to work, how they're going to bring their workforce back. Here's the thing, guys. Until schools are in session, there is no way right there. Until schools are in session, we're not going to be back in business, because people need to watch their kids. So the reality is you need to put the fucking kids in school before people can go back to anything that seems like normalcy. So here's what they're doing.